I decided to do my photographer presentation on Katy Gomez Catalina. Katy was born in Ubeda, Spain. She is a doctor in veterinary sciences and is a self-taught photographer. In fact, she won the Travel Photographer of the Year award in 2019. She says she is focused on travel and documentary photography. However, it is also any moment that has plasticity, aesthetics, or a strong visual narrative that forces her to make a shoot. Her job today focuses on public health, but she is a passionate and amateur travel photographer. In one of the interviews she did, she said, "I do not take pictures for others, but for me." I like how she said this because it shows how passionate she is about photography and how she is focused on doing pictures for herself and for her to remember the people she's met and the places she's been to. I decided to do this presentation on Katy because I love travel photography, and while I was looking through the winners of the Travel Photography of the Year award, I stumbled upon her images. I thought her images were very storytelling and strong. She captures many special moments through her portraits and gives the viewer a detailed sense of place with her images of different locations. As I looked through her webpage, I decided to talk about two of her photo projects. The first one, Fotomiradas. Fotomiradas means photo looks. The focus of her project was to capture a person's gaze. And in her words, she says portraits are a trip to the center of a person's gaze. Each of the pictures in her project captured a portrait of a person, and the most important part of it was the look on their faces and what they were transmitting through their gaze. The first thing I liked about this project was the name. I like how she focused on the eyes and how the eyes can be very storytelling. This is one of the first pictures in her series, and I was immediately attracted to it. She is at a different angle, which makes the photo look more intimate and real. The man is leaning into the camera during this moment of laughter. The way the photo is focused lets the sharpness of the wrinkles be seen. And, moreover, I can see his eyes very clearly. They are completely unfocused, and they show how authentic this moment is. Also, although my eye was primarily drawn to the man, I also like how the photographer leaves the woman in the photo. She is also laughing, and it seems to be a moment of interaction not only between the photographer and the man, but also between other people around them. This picture makes me want to smile. I like what she accomplished with this picture because it shows an authentic moment and it's very storytelling. This is what I want to accomplish when I take a documentary style picture. I know that with this picture it is very important how she interacted with the subjects and how they reacted to her. The second picture I was drawn to is much more dramatic and impactful. It makes me understand why she named the photo story Fotomiradas. His gaze is going directly into the camera, and his eyes have a shine or a light in them. The part I like most about this photograph is the reflection in the mirror. The mirror is dirty, but the way his face is reflected in it shows me more about his facial expression. It shows the intensity of it through a different lens. I even think that the bee on the side of his face also gives us a bit of this boy's background and where he lives. His gaze is so intense that it makes me want to look directly into his eyes. I also like the composition of this photo, how it is directly focused on him and not anything else. That way we can only focus on the way he's frowning, the way his mouth is shaped, and how he has rope on the side of his shoulder. I think this picture is also very storytelling. The fact that she made this picture in black and white is very interesting because it enhances the child's features and his face. I can also see the way the white clothes contrast with the background in a better way than it would with color. This is the third image I chose from the photo story. What I like most about this image is that I can see this woman's space and what is going on with what seems to be her art gallery. This gives me a glimpse into her life and her story, which is what I would like to aim at with my photography. It tells a story, it captures a moment in someone else's life. Her smile seems contagious, and I like the composition of the photo. She seems to be in a rule of thirds, and the way she is positioned also adds to the photo because you can tell she's working, and still she looks at the photographer in a very kind way. The angle the picture was taken also allows us to see the full body of the woman from the bottom up. The light in the image is also particularly good. I like how the face of the woman is lit up and how her hair is also very well lit. The second project I looked at was called Mundos Interiores, or Inner Worlds. These images are aimed at giving a sense of place to the audience. In the words of the photographer, Inner Worlds is a collection of intimate moments staring shadows. The interior and private world of spaces, textures, forms of life, and inert elements. This first picture is very mysterious. It almost looks like from a horror movie. The woman is perfectly framed, and the photographer must have waited a long time before taking this picture. This exact moment and the way that the position of the woman is between the curtains and with her arms stretched out horizontally makes the picture very dynamic. I like how she is right in the middle. Her head is perfectly aligned with the triangle of the curtains. Also, I like the blurriness of the picture. I think this adds to it instead of taking it away from it. I think it makes this picture look a lot more mysterious and intriguing. I also like how you cannot see the woman's face, only her silhouette. By looking only at her back, I can tell that this was a really authentic moment and that the photographer didn't do anything to fix what was going on in that scene. The second picture gives me more of a sense of place. The light from the door shines directly into this man's face and body. The way he is looking out the window and how he is positioned makes me wonder what he's looking at. He seems thoughtful and calm. I like the fact that you can see the hallway and how it gives me a sense of place to where the guy lives and where he's from. I also like how this is more about the environment around the guy rather than himself. I can see the things going on in the back and how old this building is. The rugs also seem like they could have color, but the fact that she made it black and white gives it more attention towards the character and how he lives in this space. The third picture is very wide and clear. I like how there are so many different characters and elements to this picture and how they are all doing different things. However, none of them look at the photographer. This gives me an inside look at a moment frozen in time, especially because of the clock in the back. The composition of the photo is interesting and different since the clock is not directly in front, but rather it is a side view. The fact that people are both shadowed and fully in light also makes it more dynamic. A lot of these pictures show the inside of some house or building, emphasizing the space rather than the characters, but at the same time it shows us the environment in which these characters will develop or in which they live. In this case, for example, it shows us a place people like to visit and how they stand around looking at this giant object. Katy Gomez's work is really cool and inspiring, and I think it speaks to how she loves to travel and how she loves to interact with different cultures during her travels and showcase that in her pictures. I think each of her photos captures a different moment, a different story, and all of her pictures put together into a project makes the project a long story of different smaller stories compiled together. And this is what I hope to do with my photography, tell different stories about different places and people. This was my presentation and I hope you guys liked it.